Well, it's a pleasure to meet both of you. I've just obviously seen the film. It's absolutely fantastic. So well done. Jacob, is it your first time here in London?
It is my first time here in London. I'm actually quite enjoying it because I have a great grandma that lives here.
Okay, excellent. And you had a big night out last night, I hear. Is that right?
Yeah, we won an award, right, Lenny?
Yeah, we sure did.
Excellent. How was that? Was that a big experience for you?
It was like, I didn't really expect it because there's a bunch of other movies that we're going through. Like, I saw all the other nominees, and those are also pretty good movies too. Like, we're going through some pretty good movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we're just really excited to hear what came out of the presenter's mouth.
Excellent. And let's talk about the film itself. So it's quite a big film for you. You're in every scene, really, aren't you? How was it to film a film like this?
It was actually my third movie I've ever filmed. So, I mean, I was quite used to doing films. And it wasn't that hard of a one because all I had to do was mainly, like, jump around. So it was like kind of it was mostly an easy one.
Okay, excellent. And Lenny, coming to you, obviously it's a film based on a book of the same name.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of interested how you came across the book, 'cause I hear you found the book and then sent the letter to the author.
Yeah, the producer that I work with, Ed Guiney, he had read about the book and we were chatting about it. It sounded very interesting, and so we both read it, and I loved it and was fascinated by Emma's choices in how she told a story which could have been a crime story or a story of bleak kind of bleakness, but she made it into something much richer than that. And I decided that the best thing to do was to just get in touch with her directly because the book was was quite a success. So I thought there would be a lot of people keen to get the rights to make it, and there were, and so I just told her what I felt and wrote her a pretty long combination of a pitch, an analysis of the book, and an attempt to spoil other people's what I thought other people would say. So and luckily she responded.
And there's obviously some similarities between this and your other films, but this must have been a very different film to direct from your point of view.
Yeah, I mean, it had a lot of challenges. Structurally, it's very unusual. There are two halves, and there's tremendous tension in the second half, but it's a different sort of tension to the tension in the first half. A big chunk of the movie is shot in a very, very small space, which brings with it a lot of challenges. And then finding somebody like Jake who's capable of playing such a dramatic part so young was also a challenge, and then we had to work really hard together to get it just right. So it was in many ways a very different kind of experience making this film to anything else I've done.
Okay, excellent. And how was it shot? Did you sort of shoot the first half first and then go on to the second?
Yeah, we shot more or less sequentially. I mean, which made it tough because in one other respect, because it put the exterior stuff later in the schedule, and we were shooting in Canada going into the winter, so it was pretty cold. Logistically, it would have been the more obvious way to do it would have been to do the outside first. But I think it was important for Jake, but also for me, that we could build the performance as we went, and we always knew where we were.
And Jacob, you worked with Brie Larson. She plays your ma in the film.
Yeah.
What was she like to work with?
She was really nice because I was really shy when I met her, but then we became friends and we got to know each other a little bit more, and then we just acted together on rehearsals and we became best friends.
Excellent. And what was your most difficult part of the film to shoot?
There was this time where I had to cry because there's a few where I have to cry, and also where I have to yell at Brie because I really didn't want to yell at her because she's such a nice person, and the cake was actually pretty good. So I was like, but I don't want to, but I had to. but then I did it eventually, and
What did we do? We got everybody in the whole set to yell, didn't we?
yeah.
And that made it into a bit of a game. And then you thought, well, you know what? I can yell at her without like really yelling at her.
Yeah. So then I just did a good job. So those were the hard parts.
Excellent. And obviously, coming back to you, Lenny, it must have been such a difficult. I mean, Jacob's fantastic in the film. Must have been so difficult to find the right person for that. He's perfect. So how was that process?
Well, there's a well-worn, there is a well-worn process to casting kids, and it takes a while, and you have to throw your net very widely. And the casting directors that we worked with were very experienced, so I would just get many tapes or files sent to me of video recordings of lots of boys, and then we narrowed it down, and then Jake popped up out of Vancouver in Canada, and he sort of went right to the top of the list, and then I went and I met him, and that was it. So it was, it took a few months, but it did. Our boy arose out of that process.
Fantastic. And it was a long shoot, I hear.
Yeah, it was almost 50 days. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
But I think because Jake's hours were limited,
Absolutely.
I think to about 5 hours a day, plus because he would have to do some schooling as well, and it meant that our days were we could do a little bit less than you would normally do in a day.
Okay, excellent. The exciting thing now is what's next for you both. So starting with Jacob, what are you doing next?
What am I doing next? Actually, after Room,
Apart from Christmas, of course.
after doing Room, I actually did one. It was called Strut In, and then I did one called Burn Your Maps, and then I did Book of Henry, and I just finished that like a few months ago. Well,
A few days ago, really, wasn't it? Or a couple of weeks ago?
Well, just like 10 weeks ago.
Excellent.
And I don't know what I'm doing next.
Okay, no problem. And yourself, Lenny?
I am promoting this a lot at the moment, so that's taking up a lot of time, and I'm just mulling over what film I want to do next out of it, and working hard on developing some interesting projects. But yeah, lots of options and exciting things.
Excellent.
Oh yeah, there's one about a ghost which Jake is particularly interested in.
Okay.
That's pretty good, actually.
Excellent.
That one's pretty good.
Well, the best of luck with the film. It's getting a lot of attention, all for the right reasons. I
Thank you
wish
so
the
much.
best.
Thank you.